Hello everybody. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to find a input conflict inside Unreal Engine's new input system. For instance, if we have a jump input system and we have a dodge input system that has the same input bindings, we might have an issue something like this when we jump. Over here, jumping impulse and dodge impulse is happening at the same time. This is because of the bindings of the same input system. For instance, in this project, I have used spacebar key for jumping as well as spacebar key for dodging input actions. And during to find this kind of input conflict inside Unreal Engine, currently it's pretty hard since using just a reference finding is not going to solve the issue, or it's not going to just help you, since that the reference system does not have a option to find exact bindings like gamepad names or spacebar specific input keys that can be searched, and other options like blueprint finding option is not going to solve this issue. So there is one thing that I have found, that the solution is just finding the specific key from specific code that displays which specific button is using specific input actions. For instance, if I play this game again, what's going to happen? It's going to display two input actions names: input action dodge, input action jump. That means input action jump and dodge using at the same time when I click spacebar or gamepad button. Here we go. This is what's happening. And, and currently what's happening is that we have a dodge input system and we have jump input system that's being used in this main input action context. And what's happening here is that we have the same key bindings: spacebar, spacebar. And to find this issue, to find this key binding like complexity issues, we have an option to find those system manually through code. Here what I did is I created a input context reference array, and here what it needs to do is just whenever whatever context is being used inside the project manually needs to be entered onto this variable like this, like this. And on the begin play, this function specifically just searches from this context and displays which input array is being used, specifically using this code. For instance, right now I've been searching a key bindings button that's called gamepad face button bottom, and this is specifically for gamepad. On the other hand, I can use anything that I could find that I need to find. For instance, on this input action, I have spacebar, so I could change the name into spacebar. So by this way, what I can do is that instead of gamepad button, I'm going to search it from spacebar button. So it's going to call the same input actions on the display on the screen. Input action dodge, input action jump, and finally we managed to solve the issue that which input key is being used. This this method is pretty useful when teamwork is important and documentation is lacking regarding the input actions, since not everybody is going to keep track of what input actions are being used in which input actions, and these input mappings can be found through this code easily and find which input actions are being used through these mappings. Once we found the input actions using this method, we can easily just search it from reference viewer, which action or which blueprint actors or assets are using this input action, so that in the end it will be a lot more easier to find it inside the project, since if you find which input binding using which input action, we can search this input action inside the blueprint as well, which will be a lot more easier. For instance, if I call EA jump inside a blueprint, yeah, it's right now it's not, it's showing a input action event and from the project, and it's a lot more easier once we find which input actions are being used from input bindings, input mappings, I mean. Yeah, and thanks for watching, and if you have any question, let me know, and the project links as well as snippet codes of this blueprint code will be available on the description of this video. And yeah, let me know any kind of questions, any kind of content or problems that needs to be that I that needs to be displayed on the next tutorial videos. Yeah. All right. Peace.